Hey! Welcome to this week in SBXIV, the podcast about Final Fantasy XIV. This is episode 129, season 3, episode 8. I think I got all of that right. Am I right?
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
I fucking did it!
It's a mouthful.
So yeah, we're gonna just, you know what? Fuck intros. We're gonna sit here and talk about me for 30 minutes.
What are we gonna talk about you for?
We just turned this into Siri Breaks 14, the podcast about Siri in his teens? No, that doesn't work.
Are we going to have a video of you drunk and singing karaoke?
Oh god, all the videos I posted from Saturday, those were bad.
No, oh my gosh, they were so good. I was like, oh my gosh, he needs a fucking gold chain because you had like the top few buttons undone, you had a little bit of hair coming out.
Oh yeah, and then my tie was all kind of halfway done. By the end of the night, I did the whole Japanese thing where I was wearing it on my head. It was fucking fantabulous.
I was like, dude, he really needs a thick gold chain. It would complete the look. Complete it.
My chest isn't that hairy.
Oh, it's not. But
well,
anyway, it's just awesome.
Oh, then maybe that wasn't his chest that he was showing Cala.
No.
I would hate to know whose chest it was.
Anyway, so the crazy man posting all those videos, that was me. I'm Siri. Welcome to the podcast. And tonight joining us, we have, once again, Joe. Want to say hello, Joe?
Hello.
We also have Jeff.
What up?
And we got Cala.
Hello.
We don't have an Oro. He ran away. He's super busy at work. So we're going to hold down the fort, and we're going to talk about random stuff that we found on the internet, because there's not a whole lot of news going on right now.
Talk about dicks.
Sticky D's.
No, ew, no, we're not doing that. We're waiting because this week is TGS, and on Friday they're going to do the live letter from the producer. If you are awake at that time,
TGS being Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah.
Well, it's 8 p.m. PDT, so that's 11 p.m. Eastern. So a majority of listeners should be awake at that time.
Oh, that's kind of early.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, I plan to just sit here, get some popcorn, and eat and watch, and be like, "Oh yeah!"
And pray to God for a release date for 3.1.
We should take bets. Who's betting on sometime this month?
I think actually, based on the time frame of this, I would say week and a half. Not this upcoming Tuesday, but the Tuesday after that.
The Tuesday after that, so the 29th?
That's about right.
Because they can bunch it in like the Halloween event.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how about you, Jeff? When do you think they'll come out with it?
3.1?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm so busy with other things that I haven't thought about it, but I mean, it could be the 29th.
29th? Okay, how about you, Joe?
I think it might be earlier. I'm thinking it might be the Tuesday following Tokyo Game, the live letter.
You think so?
Because they've done that before, where it's like they're like, "Hey, 3.1 stuff, blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, live letters right now. Oh yeah, it's coming out in 4 days."
I don't know. Yeah. I guess I'm kind of
22nd or 29th. Those two would have been my guesses. Joe took the other one.
I don't know. I'm leaning more towards October 6th.
I think that's way too far out.
It is really far out, but the only reason why I'm leaning towards that was because Yoshida did say he wanted to give his team a break. At the PAX Prime Soken panel with Michael Koji Fox, they were talking that Heaven's Ward to them was more Hell's Ward, and that was because of the frantic pace that they were at, just trying to make all the content and stuff for Heaven's Ward. And I know that, yeah, it is a 3-month. It's been July, August, September, so it's a 3 months. It's about time for it to come out this month. But if he is giving them a break, I'm betting more on October than September. That is if he loves his people and doesn't want them to die. Maybe.
Unless it's done already.
Unless it's done already. Because, I mean, yeah, they were working at a frantic pace. I hope he doesn't, like, tire them out. I sometimes worry about their health, especially Yoshida's. I know that, you know, I think once or twice he's been sick or, you know, saying that he's sick. And it's like, but you guys are, like, working yourselves to death.
Yeah, he does mention how little he sleeps, and that terrifies me.
Yeah, I mean, because sleep is
Coffee and
really,
cigarettes.
really important. That's what worries me more. Is like it's like he doesn't sleep. I know he smokes cigarettes. He probably drinks, and it's like, dude, man, that's not extending your life right there.
He's a stereotypical Japanese businessman.
Pretty much. He's a Saturday man. He gets off work and just goes and just smokes and drinks. Oh, that's so magical.
Oh,
Takes a
Then he
walk down the Ghetto Michi.
Sleeps on the sidewalk because he missed his train.
The late night train. Oh, I hate missing that train.
I can't even imagine Yoshida. Well, no, never mind. I can't imagine Yoshida doing that. I think he'd look really cute.
I would love to drink with that man. That'd be fantastic.
I would be, wouldn't it?
And not even talk about 14. Just he seems like he'd be a fucking riot. Just hang out and talk bullshit.
I think he'd be fun talking about anything. But I think something that would be really nice is if we could have him as a companion for everything.
Or as a minion?
No, because if he was a companion, then he could kill things for us. You know, like the Path Companion from 1.0, which we don't have anymore. They talked
Those
about
were
bringing
awesome,
it back.
by the way.
Yeah, they were awesome, but on one of our bucket list things we have to talk about is the
Companion system.
yes.
And how, guess what, guys? It's just fucking terrible.
According
So
to
says
Reddit.
Reddit.
Yes.
And honestly, I really can't fucking deny any of the things they're saying. It's very short, it's very sweet, and basically it comes down to this. You can't queue in the duty finder when your companion is out. You can't summon minions while it's out. You can't ride another mount while your companion is out. The companion counts as a party member, even though it gives no party bonus or limit break when you have a light party. You can't just dismiss it, you have to use withdraw.
Yeah, so when you're in town, it's fucking a pain.
It's a pain in the ass. I actually pulled that one skill to a secondary bar just so I had it available.
Yep.
And then that's basically the end of their little post. Just saying they don't hate their chocobo, they want it to stay, but it's a hassle to have it summoned. And I will be completely fucking honest with you. I do not remember the last time I summoned my chocobo. Mine is rank 7 apparently, according to
I
my
used
Mine
mine
is
the other
10.
week. Mine's 10 also.
I need to get an onion because I'm so excited. It's 10.
Mine's 11. Woo!
How much did you pay for an onion?
And
You know you get 2 from quests and Heaven's Ward.
I sold mine
I think I sold mine too. Holy shit.
because it was
I
selling
totally
for
sold
like
mine.
300 some K, and I'm like, oh snap, hell yeah, I'm gonna fucking sell. There's no way I'm
They're-
gonna get to 10
They're
anytime
probably
soon.
dirt cheap now.
They are like, the last time I checked, I think they were between 120 to 80K, so it's not too bad.
Yeah.
I believe you can get the seeds and then grow your own if you want to, which I plan to do because it's much cheaper and just less headache inducing than trying to find out if it's actually worth the price on the market board system.
It's
How
fun.
much are seeds? Where do you get the seeds from?
You can get the seeds. I know
Crossbreeding,
crossbreeding, yes.
or you can just buy them.
You can buy them on the market board. I'm gonna go check on XIVDB real quick and just make
I think
sure.
those are the only two
Really?
ways to do it. They're not drops and they're not harvested.
I was wondering if the Venerian onion seeds, you can get them off of the. Nope, you can't. So right now, yes, you can get them off of crossbreeding or the market board system.
Yeah, I've yet to have a need for it. Like I said, my thing's only level 7 because I just don't pull it out. It's rare when I'm out there in the world doing fate.
Just don't whip it out.
I'm sorry, I'm modest and shy like that. No, I just don't. I don't have a reason to use it when I'm in Fates or whatever, because normally there's other people there. I'm running like the Northern Thanalan train. That's the only time I really grind Fates. And outside of that, I'm either in the company house or just not logged in. So for me, it's kind of a moot point. I like seeing it. He's a pretty purple.
I use mine quite often for, let's see, the last time I used it was for chest farming. So we had treasure maps and we were using them because we didn't have enough people there. So I used mine for the chest party. I used mine for Fates, grinding out my ninja in, is it Western Korthus Highlands? I've also used it as a bodyguard of sorts because sometimes I'm not too sure if I'm going to hit my hide or invisible thing when I'm doing botany or mining. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna have you out as a bodyguard, just in case.
Does he steal your XP if you're a gatherer?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean,
Well,
like,
that's pretty good then.
I don't really use him for that. I more like mostly for if I'm already at cap and I'm kind of like just in a hurry and I'm not sure, because sometimes I know that for some reason, this is especially true on my controller, I'll hit something but it doesn't seem to trigger. I should probably get a new controller, but I'm kind of like, most of the buttons work most of the time, so it's okay. So I just use them as kind of assurance that if I do get hit, I won't die like the other schmo because I have a bodyguard with me.
What class is yours?
Healer.
Healer kind of is meh.
Unless you're like a DPS who really needs those heals, it's saved my ass plenty of times.
Mine's a healer too. Maybe I should actually swap that out. Maybe I'll actually summon him more.
Yeah, because I mean, for me, I'm like Black Mage or Ninja, and so those spot cures have helped me immensely. I guess.
But they stand in all the AoEs.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I guess the AI is not exactly intelligent.
It's just artificial.
It's artificial, exactly. So it's AI.
It's just artificial. No intelligence, just artificial.
It's just A.
But I mean, it's at least gotten better because at least you can teleport with them. Before you had to dismount them and stuff before you can actually teleport or withdraw them.
That applies to all mounts, though. So I'm wondering whether that's less systemic of the companion being crap and more of a quality of life change for people who just happen to be on mounts and want to go somewhere.
Yeah, I think that's more of that.
Well, also because with flying you can get stuck, and so they wanted just so you can just port out if you find your way somewhere where you can't leave.
That's happened to me once. And I was scared. I'm like, am I going to stay here in limbo? And
He just like fell through the earth. Oh, whoops.
No, I got stuck in the air somehow. And I don't know how I did it, but I got stuck and I could not move out of it. I was just stuck in this really random place. And I'm like, how the fuck do I get out of here? And after a while, I started having an anxiety attack because I'm like, I don't know how to get out. And then it dawned on me, like, oh, I can teleport out. I don't want to, but
you kind of have to.
I have to.
That's the worst feeling ever.
There. Yeah.
Especially when you're stuck like in between like world geometry and you're like, you're seeing that angle that you're not supposed to see.
Oh.
That like houses that are like half built or like how deep the world actually goes.
Someone in Final Fantasy 11, someone did that to me because I don't know if you know, but there's like the pot hacks. So
yep.
You can like teleport around. So like someone in my my guild, Eggshell, was logged into my account and like pot hacked me way out, and then logged out. like just like way out into the water. It was like Kazam or something, and just I was like way out there in the water. I logged in, and I'm like, what the fuck?
I'd be sad if you didn't have any warp clubs or anything.
Nope, I did not.
Oh,
So what do you do?
shit! So how'd you get out of there?
Did you call it GM?
Yeah, I had to call it GM.
That's
My
fucked
whole,
up.
My whole show was fucking laughing.
So
You
then,
remember-
It was
You remember
like
that,
fucking punked.
that screenshot, the infamous one in Dragon's Airy, where someone put their position in like say?
That's Kit. Okay, it was Kit Kit.
Yes!
It was 1,
Yes!
2 something. I was there for that.
I was there too.
Ah, so good. We were laughing so hard.
What
She
did you
was-
say? Like she was doing like
she was like,
algebra
I'm-
homework or something
No,
like that?
she said
Yes.
I'm testing my numpad.
yes,
Testing my number pad. Yeah, that was good.
that was sad. That was so sad.
Is this just people trying to like make their own fun? That's what it sounds like.
It's people cheating at the game and thinking they can get away with it by lying really, really badly.
Yeah, there's no way you're testing your number pad with a 4-digit number. Sorry, with a 5-digit number to the 10th decimal place.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was
It was
basically.
very specific.
It was
Yeah.
very, very specific. And so there ended up being a meme about this person and her digits on our server because of that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sad I missed that.
Moving on, we have what do you find yourself doing after you've completed a milestone? I guess because they're trying to figure out what to do next. Like they've done something, and what do you do next? I know I felt that sometimes. I'm like, I finished leveling. I'm like, what do I do now?
What defines like
Yeah, that's
a
the big question.
milestone though? Because
I
like
guess it's different for everybody.
It is different for
like
everyone.
hitting 60 was my milestone or something like that.
I
Like,
think it
that's-
depends on the severity of work involved. If it's like leveling to 60, it's automatically queue for a dungeon. If it's finish your Zeta weapon when it was still relevant, it'd probably be log out for a week and just drink straight and don't stop.
Actually, that happened to me this morning. I hit 60 like around 2 o'clock, and then I did my 60 quest and like sat around and hit the dummy for a while. And then like it was 3 o'clock and I just logged out and I was like, I have to stay awake till 8 a.m. But I wasn't in the game.
Yeah, you just take a break.
Yeah, like
You deserved it.
For me, it depends on what we consider the milestone, and I've never done anything stupidly insane, aka relic grinding or, trying to finish tomes in a single day. I'm not that kind of crazy person. So my milestones are relatively mild. It's more like, did I get this class of 60? Cool. Let me go take this class into a level 60 dungeon now. Let me slap on the gear that's been sitting in this storage forever.
I'm kind of like that too. Because I think, oh, I'm going to level this class. I'll level this class and I got to do this. But then I don't like doing dungeons. I don't like doing dungeons by myself. I don't like fates. I can't do leaves for very long. I hate leveling. I hate leveling.
How many 60s do you have?
1. My
Don't
ninja
blame you.
is like 50 something, and I was working towards getting my summoner to 50. It's like at maybe 42, but it's just, for me, it's really hard. I just get so bored and I get so restless, and I'm like, oh, fuck this shit.
Well, think about how many people in our free company like didn't level their lancers for ninjas because they're just like, fuck this.
That's me. I am just like maybe a few levels off from blood for blood, and I just have not, because it is painful. It is so painful for me to level Dragoon.
You're not alone, definitely.
Yeah, and so I really just need to buckle down. It's just when I think I have the time, I end up not having the time. And then when I do have the time, I end up doing other things like, oh, let's go ahead and continue to grind out my miner or my botanist, or, oh, look, there's this shiny thing. Let's go get the shiny thing. I need to grow these things in the garden. I need to go get soil. I need to go get seeds. I need to go do this and that and this. So that's what ends up happening to me. I just go things about in a whimsical way.
It's like legs day. Make all the excuses not to do it.
But don't skip legs day. That's bad.
Ooh,
You pick
yeah.
a lollipop.
How about you, Jeff?
Milestones? What do I do?
Yeah.
My milestones tend to be rather weird. Like, I had... It ranges, I guess. So, one of my milestones used to be getting all the... what are those? Beastman tribe thingies? To max? What did I do?
Get the Kano mask.
Yeah. I actually have that on one of my characters, so...
That's so fucking cool.
I just didn't want to do it again. But, like, afterwards, it was like, woo, this is awesome. Okay. And I don't know, I mean... It's not really like that wasn't a really big milestone for me, just sort of something to do, log in and do it. But my bigger milestones were like, I wanted to beat turn 13 before Echo and, released to Duty Finder, which I did, which was great. And I wanted to like do the same. I wanted to do the same for like T9 and all that crap. So most of mine were sort of raid centric, less gear, but more sort of like, yes, beat this. I think for me, after that happens, it's like you get this crazy rush of adrenaline, and then you just go back to it the next day, so to say. But I don't know. I don't stop or quit or whatever. We definitely do. We definitely, take a break. It's like, oh my god, screenshots, oh my god, still can't believe it. Then you tell all your friends, just beat it.
Then your friends don't care because they don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and they're just like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with not, I don't know, maybe I'm just not that, like, oh my god, to everything. Like, wow. Maybe I'm just not very easily impressed. Or not very overly dramatic. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely fun to get your big milestones out of the way, though.
See, you talked about kind of just continuing those milestones back to back to back with small little downtime in between. That actually kind of brings up the next point that we came up on Reddit was, how do you deal with burnout? There's been so much talk about people being burnt out and how we're approaching the end of 3.x and how 3.1 needs to come ASAP and people are bored. So how do you, having all these major kind of accomplishments back to back, how have you dealt with that up to this point?
I don't think of the game as a game. Sometimes, think of it as you log into chat and log out. You don't need... There are many times where I log in and do nothing but run circles. Like around the house, or around a fountain, or around a tree or something. And that's all I do. Maybe 2-3 hours and just sit there and run around. And if people happen to need me for something, I'll join up. If no one does, I'll just continue running in circles and just chat with people. If
That's
everyone's
kind of
gone.
what I've done.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-mm.
I don't think, at least. It's, I mean, you do what you can to stay interested in the game, and largely this game is more of a social thing for me than it is like a game. Like, I want to do all these things, but I'm very particular about who I do them with too. Like, I can't imagine myself randomly joining like a group of people, like in Party Finder, for example, like looking for blah 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 in, for a progression static.
What would the group of people that you would want to play with? I don't know if that came out right.
Yeah. Well, like, who would they be?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I can't really say it specifically, but like, just people that I know, people that
Okay.
people that are, people that are like generally really chill,
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time they have to understand a couple of things, like we're raiding, so there's a completely different mentality than the rest of the game, where you have a lot of you can do whatever the fuck you want in most of this game and get away with it.
Yeah.
Like, I to this day have no fucking clue what I'm doing in half of the Alexander normal modes, and we still win. And it's like, I have no idea. It's like, we won.
You just
I have
do
no
stuff,
idea
press buttons.
like, literally, I'm pressing buttons, and I have no clue what I'm doing, and we still win. And that shit doesn't fly when you're in a raiding situation. You have to be knowing what you have to be in that situation where you're like, oh, that's happening. I have to do this because of that, or I need to whatever. It's just the raiding mentality where you just have to be more aware of yourself and your surroundings.
Yeah.
So people who it's really hard. I'll tell you this: it's really hard to find people. Like, it's easy to find people who are chill. It's easy to find people who are really good. It's really hard to find people who are really chill and really good.
You talked earlier about running around in circles and just chatting, and I totally echo that sentiment. I am very, very silly when it comes to MMOs. I'm known to disappear for a week or two at a time if I'm getting burnt out because real life gets in the way or because I just need a break. But honestly, there are just some nights where I just sit back and just drink and use the client as a glorified chat program.
I've done that with 11. I'm doing that with 14.
I know. I've done that with 11 for like a long period of time. I mean, especially when earlier on in my 11 career, I was going to school. And so, I mean, that's probably the same for a lot of people who were playing the game. But it was really hard for me to just sit down and just play, or even do end game content, because the schedules that they had were all like, I can't do that. I have to prep for the next day. I have to get all this shit done. So instead I just be on in the weekend, and other times where I'm just sitting there, I'm like, I have nothing to do. So then I will just chat with people. And I kind of did that in 14 most recently. It's like maybe a few weeks ago, where I logged on and I talked to a friend for, I don't know, several hours. We were talking for a really long time, and I just got to know the person more, and I'm like, oh, this person's really, really cool. And it's just it was just like, I know I wasted my time just using this as a chat program, but I was actually really happy. And I know that other people would be like, you wasted your fucking time. You could have done this and this and this. I'm like, yeah, I could have, but I honestly had more fun talking to another person.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's nice just to step back and not play the game for what it is, because there are so many aspects of this game that are so controlling of your life in terms of grinding, and you need to cap, and you need to do this, and you need to have XI level, and there's so much expectation that comes into playing this game. Oh dear. There's so much expectation that comes with other players trying to impose their will upon you that sometimes you just need to step back and just enjoy what brings you joy in a game. If that's sitting around being a silly person, poking somebody for 5 minutes at a time, that's totally cool, because you're enjoying yourself and you're preventing yourself from hitting that burnout stage.
Actually, that's very true. Coming from more of like a rating standpoint, there's things you need to get done, absolutely need to get done. And although I wasn't rating at the time, I'm not really rating at as of right now. But when Esoterics first came out, I capped the first week, and then I got really busy the next week, and I just didn't have time. Well, I mean, I guess I did have time, but I didn't want to make time to log in and caps. A big part of it was because I had no rating group, and I didn't cap for that week. And then I was like, well, I'm behind 1 week, and you can't just sort of magically catch up. There's no catching up. It's, you're behind that week, you are behind that week. game over. Not really game over, but you're forever going to be behind 1 week. And I pretty much took a month off after that, like largely because I was like, huh, I've never been this behind before, so I guess I don't give a fuck anymore. And I just like took a break, logged in to say hi, and like that's about it. Ran around, didn't really like log in to do expert and then log out. It was like log in, run around, chat with people, log out, do real life things, play other games, watch TV shows or anime or movies.
That's one thing I've been doing a lot. I think because after PAX I was not able to keep up with my SO capping it. I just have been so busy with other things, and so when I realized I'm just busy and I'm tired, I ended up playing other games. I started playing King's Quest on PS4. I was playing Diablo. I was playing Diablo 3 on PS4. I've tried to get through Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I've gotten like through maybe half of the series now.
Brotherhood's so good.
It is really good. And see, those are stuff that I didn't get to do before because all of my time would be invested in 14, whether it's just capping SO or doing extreme modes or farming ponies or getting maps, leveling other jobs, or even watching the live letter from a producer. All of my time would be just devoted into 14.
Break 14.
Yeah. I mean,
the projects involved with 14. There's so many little aspects of that.
And it just becomes your life, right? And you just don't remember what it's like without a life without 14.
Exactly. And I mean, that's so true. And it's kind of sad. Like I went to PAX and my sister was like freaking out. She's like, you're not going to be here Monday. And we have to worry about the time you're going to spend at PAX and blah, 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 blah. And I was just kind of blinking and I was really confused. I'm like, but I'm happy. I got to do the things that I wanted to do. I got the Ravana shirts. I got to see Joe and Dark, and I got to talk with them. And let's see what else I did. I got the CDs. I got them signed. I got the shirt signed for Siri. I still need to send it to them. I did all the things I wanted to do, most of them pertaining to 14. But I was really happy.
I was actually going to make that comment. The things that you wanted to do while you were at PAX pertained to 14 in some capacity, but they did not explicitly involve playing 14.
Yeah.
Because the time that you invested prior created relationships and friendships that you want to foster and enjoy. So you chose to meet these people in real life and hang out versus playing in a game with them. And there's a very, very healthy aspect to that because you're not tied to a chair, you're out and about, you're creating a real human interaction rather than just a text and an avatar. And honestly, it's a little more relaxing because that pressure we talked about is not there anymore.
Mm-hmm. And it's not. I mean, for me, it sucks sometimes. I put the pressure on myself to do things because I am like, I'm the leader. And of course I'm the free company leader, and I have, the podcast, and I have to be thinking about these things like, oh, there's this that needs to be done. There's this that needs to be done. Thank goodness Zanten Suken is not, up, or else I'd be probably losing my mind trying to figure out what articles to write, when to publish them, when to do this and that and this, while having a job, while having to go to school and do everything else. My family, I have to worry about, their health and well-being, and friends that I really love and respect. I also have to worry about them. So it's absurd how much time this game takes for me, but it's not just the game itself. It's just the things outside of that related to it. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
No, it totally does. And it's actually the reason why I put this topic before the next one is for this exact conversation we're having here. And the reason is this. The next point was the difference between a boring game and being bored of a game. And there's been a lot of talk on Reddit about people that 14 is a boring game and it's repetitious. And yeah, there's a lot of truth that I'm not going to try and sugarcoat it, not going to try and deny that. But a poster posted something, and it actually makes a little bit of sense in that no game has infinite replayability, and your burnout experience doesn't make a game boring. And the honeymoon phase between players in 14 coming to an end, and with patch 3.1 coming up, we're getting more posts about the game being in a, quote, boring state. And is that, quote, boring state nothing more than people who push really hard to get through Heavensward and cap their characters and cap multiple characters and make sure to hit their esoteric cap every week? The more you do that, the more repetitious the game becomes, the better position you are to move forward in content, but the more frustrating the game becomes because you're locked down and you don't have the free time that you used to because you're becoming a slave to the game. There has to be some kind of balance between the two.
Striking balance is pretty hard. I mean, personally speaking, it's difficult. I mean, and sometimes it doesn't hit me how much I've divested into this game until the lull period where you're going the time between patches, like right now is a lull period, and I'm kind of like, I guess I should be doing something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Really?
I personally haven't played in a month, and I'm just sitting here standing on top of the damn arch in front of our free company house. There could be things I should be doing, but I'm a little lazy right now.
I don't wanna. No.
No,
But
exactly.
I don't think it's a lull right now. I mean, you want to talk lulls? Fucking the patch before 3.0 hit, or the two patches.
Yeah, that was a huge lull.
Like, what was that? Like 6 months of no content, pretty much.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, it was 6 months of zero content, but there were patches that made content easier. That's all it did. Which is stupid. That was a huge lull. Now it's like, oh, you have to wait a month? Oh no. Woe is you. Here's the littlest violin fucking playing the saddest song in the world just for you.
Exactly. And a lot of that can be attributed to the fervor people felt with the expansion. They were so happy. They were so starving for content because of that previous patch that when the patch hit, they fucking voraciously ate it up. And now we're at a point where the next patch isn't quite here, and people are, quote, running out of things to do. And they probably are because they've done so much in such a short period of time that they don't want to be here right now. And maybe they just need that week break, that 2-week break. Go play another video game. Go do something. Because these two topics are really, really intrinsically tied.
Yeah, I mean, is it boring? The game, half of me wants to say yes. Like if you look at it from an objective standpoint, you're like, what's there to do at endgame? Oh, Alex, and end scene. Like that's it. There's really nothing else you can do. Is there a reason you want to do Ravana? No.
Yeah, they kind of.
Is there a reason you want to do
themselves with
Bismarck?
that one.
No. You know, once you gear up the one job you want to, I mean, okay, if you want to gear up more than one class, sure, we'll do Alexander normal to get you your 190 pieces, and you know, continue capping your esoteric so that you can get your 200 pieces, and then continue doing Alexander Savage to, you know, get your 210 pieces. But bottom line is, there really isn't that much to do. I mean, everything is reset, new game plus. That's your what is there to do after you hit 60, right? Like I got 60 in, you know, White Mage, and then you can new game plus this shit and get 60 in Scholar, and then reset again. Let's get 60 in Astrologian, and rinse and repeat until you get everything to 60. I don't know, maybe some people find that fun. I don't find it particularly fun, but I don't find it, like, you know, stupidly boring either, because, you know, I did that before.
Like the one dude who got all the Zetas, or what did he do? He got all the Zodiacs?
Arthars? That guy?
He got them all, right?
On PG, right?
Yeah.
Arthars, yeah, he streams too. But yeah, he just does it for the
Yeah,
fun, for the hell of it.
that's why he plays this game, and that's what keeps him from being bored. Is just I'm just gonna. He set that goal, and, it's kind of a really, 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 really far goal, so it keeps him motivated to play.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even imagine doing it. Like, for me, it's just the people. If there's no one on, I lose the motivation to play. And I know I could do roulette. I know I could do a whole bunch of other things.
I 100% agree with you.
But if no one's on, I can't get myself to play. I can't. Like, leveling for me is really hard. If it weren't for Siri or Oro saying, hey, I will do this with you, I would just be like, nope, not going to do it. And sometimes people just have to, like, message me and be like, hey, do you want to do this? And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll do it, because it's better than doing it by myself. Or with strangers. Because for me, it's just more stressful. I have to be on presence versus, like, being myself. I mean, I know that sounds kind of strange, because either way, I'm trying my best to do the maximum of DPS I can without being too unlazy. Did that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can get away with certain things with people that you know.
Yes.
You can say things you probably shouldn't. You can be a little lax in DPS, then someone will call you out on it and, jokingly, like, hey, get your shit together. And then you ha ha ha, and then you go and you actually press buttons. Things like that, that's what make a dungeon to me, or a raid or whatever, fun, is the interaction that you have, not only with the boss and the strategy and the mechanics. For me, it's the interaction of the players and seeing who's actually going to be on tonight, who's going to keep their shit together, who's going to come up with some kind of funky-ass strategy, who's going to kill us in the best, most spectacular, epic fashion.
Me.
No, her name is Riz.
Oh, yep. I kill myself. I just jump off of primal fights.
Oh, I'm so glad you didn't jump off for Ravana at PAX.
We killed it too fast.
He was on his way. He pressed the jump button and it died mid-jump.
So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and move on a little bit. Like we mentioned earlier, TGS is this weekend. That's Tokyo Game Show, and there is a live letter Friday. But the first pieces of information started to trickle out today, and one of the more interesting ones was that PlayStation VR, which was previously known as Project Morpheus, has several games listed on its demo session, and one of them is Final Fantasy XIV. So I'm curious, what do you guys think about a VR version of Final Fantasy XIV?
So it's going to be like Sword Art Online, right? Right?
No, it'll be like Log Horizon.
But did Log Horizon get the whole VR thing? No. It's like Sword Art. Yeah, dude, it's going to be Sword Art. So we'll put the headset on, right? It's the funky headset things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're connected to our PCs, and then we'll get into a coma.
You'll be connected to PlayStation, actually.
Yeah, okay, so it's
You didn't try
connected.
that at PAX?
I didn't, because the line was long, and I'm like, fuck this line. Already I had to cut people, just to get into the line for Ravana. Ravana. I was just like, dude, they said the line's closed. I've been coming back in here every 30 minutes, and the line's still closed. So I'm going to stand here and wait, and then I'm going to cut people.
Is that how we got in?
Yes. Yeah, okay, so what happened was like we were standing there right next to the mustache dude, Colby. That's all I remember him from Twitter.
No, I'm the mustache dude.
Well, yeah,
He's
you're
a
the mustache.
fake imitation.
He has this long flowing hair and everything. So we were standing right next to him, and he's saying like, yeah, the line's closed, it's capped. And then we're just talking with him, and we're watching other people. And then he says, okay, you guys can go in. And we're like, yahoo! And that's how we got in.
That's awesome.
Yes, it is. But I don't know. I have not tried the VR thing. How was it? Did you try it at PAX?
Yeah, I did. It was pretty cool. It's weird because I don't know how long I can keep that on my face, but it's not like uncomfortable, but any amount of weight on you for extended amount of time is gonna eventually become like fuck this.
Yeah.
So like even headphones, you wear headphones or glasses for too long, you're just like, I don't want to wear these anymore. But it's gonna be cool if like, but would you play like in first person or
That was my question. I need to know, do you play in first person? Because fucking Lalafell are going to be at a severe disadvantage.
their neck is gonna hurt by staring up the whole time?
Yep, the entire time.
I hope it's not in first person because I would get really dizzy. I mean, like, that's why I can't do FPS, because the way the camera moves, it moves really fast sometimes, and it's just like my eyes just can't keep up with that tracking, and I end up so dizzy I have to lay down. And I think that's the same problem I have playing the 64 games. A lot of them, just the whole camera movement just really bugs me, and I end up laying down and crying because I'm really dizzy and I can't handle it.
I can imagine 14 with the VR would be like in non first person view would just be like playing on those 4K monitors or the 4K TVs that are curved, but way more curved.
Oh my
you
gosh.
just like it's just you have that 180-degree perspective of like your monitors all the way around you, but your character's in the middle.
So then, if you how would you control things? Do you have a controller in your hand?
Yes.
Yeah, you just use your PS4 controller.
Oh,
Honestly, VR is dumb.
I honestly think so too. I
Like,
really don't like the idea of VR, but
like until it becomes sort of online-ish, where
yes,
like,
exactly.
I mean, it sounds really dumb thinking that sort of online is like that pinnacle, but it's like until you can control the character with like your mind
Or with your motions, like your arm motions and stuff.
yeah,
I mean-
without having to be tethered and without having to just thinking
Power
about
glove.
yeah just thinking about the amount of circuitry and all that stuff that is required to do all that kind of stuff, and then slapping it in some compact form and wearing it is like, to me that sounds ridiculous. Number
Well,
one.
I mean, the technology has to start somewhere.
Oh,
You
yeah,
can't just
I-
make the jump. So, I mean,
I agree.
yeah, it may seem...
Virtual Boy.
Oh, God, no, don't remind me of that motherfucker. I wanted that so bad as a kid. I played it in Toys R Us and got a headache.
It's
So did
so
I.
funny though. It's so funny though because when did the Virtual Boy come out?
Fucking like
like-
96, 95?
I think
No,
and, like,
it
No,
was way
way-
before then.
Was it way earlier? Like 92,
Yeah.
93 then?
Way earlier than that.
so
it-
well over 20 years later, nothing really has matured. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Oculus and this
The-
pretty much, right?
Oculus is, I don't want to knock the Oculus, but I have access to one, and it's not that good. It's very underwhelming. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like it's cool, but
It's cool, but once you know how it works, it stops becoming magical, and then you're like, oh, well, that limits everything. So it's
Well,
really stupid.
On top of that, there's already a quote that came out of Level Up with an interview with Naoki Yoshida, and apparently with the virtual reality headset, the graphics had to be downgraded.
Yep.
So the question is,
Nasty.
how far downgraded is the graphical fidelity?
probably
if you
PS3.
That would be sad, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it
PS3
would still
ugh.
be pretty in form, but it wouldn't have all the visual bells and whistles and glistens and whatnot that
You-
we expect coming from PC. And it sure as hell wouldn't have the clean lines that a PS4 would have.
Right.
So you couple the poor or the interesting hardware that you talk about with the Oculus, and then this change. I'm a little skeptical. I definitely want to try it and get my hands on it, and I'm very jealous if there is a show floor demo at TGS. But I'm scouring my timeline and just gaming sites to see what people say about how this actually performs.
I'm not skeptical. I just don't have high hopes for it, and I honestly don't care because it's not like this genre. Like you said earlier, you're not playing this game in first person, and it just doesn't work. Like if we were playing I don't know,
Skyrim.
Skyrim, Team Fortress 2, CS:GO or something with an Oculus, that would be much more sort of fitting for that technology.
Mirror's Edge.
Oh yeah, or like Dying Light.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, it's like this game is I'm playing in a VR headset, but I can see my character. It's kind of weird.
That
you
was the
know?
weird thing. People playing Oculus or like fighting games. I'm like, what is the
Yeah,
point?
I know. There's no point.
There's
It's
no
like,
point there.
Can you not afford? Can you like afford a monitor but just don't want to pay for one and you want to pay more? And
I would
Also,
rather
wouldn't
get a
the-
curved TV at that point.
Exactly.
'cause-
Exactly.
Or,
Like, do we
two.
know what the visual lag is on that? Because fighting games require like frame-specific input.
Yep.
And if it's like 20 milliseconds, you're basically screwing yourself.
Yep. So like there. I mean, if you want to know what like they've been actually working on an Oculus Rift version of 14. There's a demo out on YouTube. If you just on the official 14 Final Fantasy XIV channel, I think they called the title of the video "A Rift Reborn," something like that.
Oh.
So I mean, you can see them using this game in the 2.0 era on an Oculus Rift, and it's just like, wow, that's cool. No one cares.
I just want the SAO technology, or put us
Yes.
in an actual Log Horizon type of game. 14, maybe make it 14 themed. I don't know. I'd be happy.
All we need is more people named Kirito
Fuck you.
in our game, right?
No.
More
Everybody.
Asunas.
They're everywhere.
Yeah. Change your name to Asuna and Kirito.
Ugh.
Maybe
Asuna.
if enough of us do it, Square will be like, okay, we'll rename the game. Yeah, man. Sword Art 14.
No, I'd rather play a Log Horizon. The game, the world that Log Horizon is in, I'd rather play that one.
Okay.
Because that's more kind of like a Final Fantasy. Like a lot of it reminded me a lot of Final Fantasy 11.
Because it's
Like,
the high fantasy setting.
yeah. Oh well.
I will definitely not buy one of these VR things because it is not like something I'm like, oh, I've always wanted. It's not something I've really want to even consider picking up. It seems like a gimmick.
It is a gimmick. I mean, kind of like the 3D TVs.
3D TVs, curved TVs, they're all gimmicks.
Mm-hmm. But I'd get a 3D. Not a 3D. I would get the curved TV over a 3D TV only because it's like, whoa! It's like I can touch it. It's like I'm there. Holy shit!
My
so
TV
cool.
does 3D, which was an afterthought, and I got to say, at least it does it well. The
Really?
curved TV, you have to actually be sitting in a very specific spot in order to get the full kind of oomph of it.
Yeah,
Yes,
it limits your the viewing angle.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind. I'd be like, yeah. If it's just me, that's all good. They'd be like, oh my gosh, it's so cool.
Yeah, if anything, I would get like 5 monitors, all the same dimensions, and then make it curved myself and just play on super widescreen with like
Oh my
the bezel-less, monitors, so it's just like one
Yes.
full screen. I would rather
Nice.
do that than an Oculus or this Morpheus thing.
Yeah, I think I would rather get, several monitors and just play on that and have it kind of surround me versus getting an Oculus.
You
But
can put all your UI stuff on one screen, so you
Yeah.
have like everything just clear.
Shit.
Yeah.
I totally did a triple monitor 14 at one point.
How was that?
Super laggy because I didn't have a super video card. Because that's like one notch down from 4K pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
Because 4K is just four 1080p monitors.
I would love that. Shall we get on to
Actually-
the... Oh, go ahead.
No, it's fine. I was just gonna make more of a comment on how not very many video cards, like as of right now, could do that.
Unless you're like triple SLIing or something.
Well, it costs you. You'd probably just have to like dual SLI, but they'd be 980 Ti's.
Exactly.
And
Dual
those-
980s. What the fuck?
Those are not cheap, so like especially here, that's like $2,000 here.
With all the proper cooling and
Yeah.
everything too.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Yeah, you'd have to. I mean, you need all the equipment to support SLI too, right? So can't just be like, I bought 2 video cards, done.
This little piece of plastic connecting them is all I need.
It's actually really interesting that you guys are talking about just graphical and processing limitations, because that actually ties directly into the next comment. People are still begging and pleading to have Aura faces separate from Aura horns.
Nope, not gonna happen.
Well, it's outright not going to, because Bayonne responded during the live letter, which basically said if it were possible, we would have done it from the beginning. They were working on a strict limit set for the size of each character's memory allocation, and Orog uses up nearly all of the available memory.
Yep, I can believe it.
I can believe it too.
So just that
The
kind
eyes
of
and
leading
tails and all
conversation
that.
worked really well, because that's a perfect example of how memory and processing power works, because you need so much more to make these kind of things work.
Yep.
And here we are with these pretty Aura characters that have funky horns, even though I don't want them, and my face is so pretty, but I want these fucking horns to go away.
I kind of want to say they might be able, like, instead of interchanging them, like, oh, I want these horns on that face or whatever, maybe have some sort of, like, you know how you could disable your head and your weapon?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if they could disable the horns. Because that could be done, maybe.
But then that wouldn't make them aura.
Yeah, they'd just be like really weird looking Ellison at that point.
You'd be burn victim Ellisons. Because the scales
Horrible.
from far away kind of look like burn scar.
They should,
Shut up!
they should take the tails off the Aura and put them back on the Galkas.
Oh, yes.
And then I'll switch back to Galka. That's the only reason why I'm not one, is because they don't have tails.
Really? Is that the only reason?
That's amazing, because I switched to it and I'm like, it's not the same without the tail. And then, yeah.
So a character is just better with a tail.
Yes.
Yes.
So if a
If you-
Lalafell had a tail, would you become a Lalafell?
I don't like playing little characters.
Also, if
'Cause
you
I
have
am
the
little in
short
real
stubby
life.
thing, it kind of looks like a dick, but in the wrong spot. It'd be weird. It'd be really fucking
Okay,
weird.
so what if they had a marmot tail?
Like a bushy tail thing? So
Yeah.
they would look like those Popori in Terra.
Yeah.
Pass.
Actually, I played one of those too. But no, I was a Castanic. But then my secondary was a Popori.
I was a Castanic too.
I can hear Dark in the background.
I can hear her too.
Well, she spent like 2 hours making her characters.
Nice. I know a lot of people play MMOs, not specifically this one, but MMOs for how pretty it is and how pretty you can look.
It's true.
What was that game? The other MMO that has a really, really good character.
Black
design?
Desert.
Yes, Black Desert. Oh my god.
Yeah, that character creator is outstanding.
Like I can
They
make a
can
character
separate
look like
horns
me.
and face. Present.
Yeah, they can.
Wow.
I'm just saying. I'm gonna throw it out there.
PS3 limitations.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's a big part of it.
For the Aura? No.
Yeah.
Because they said the moment the PS3 becomes a limitation, they're cutting it.
That's true.
They're like,
But isn't it already?
I don't think so. In fact, what they're doing is like saying, "Oh, you're on a PS3. Too bad you don't get all these goodies." Like seriously, that's what they've been doing, right? It's like, oh, by the
Yes.
way, none of this is available on the PS3. Sorry, guys.
Well, did you guys ever play what was the fucking game? EverQuest?
No.
No.
Okay, so my friend used
One
to
or two.
dual box. I don't remember because I never played it, but my friend was hardcore EverQuest, and he would dual box it on 2 different PCs. So it technically wasn't dual boxing, but it kind of was. But I was like, "Are you playing 2 different games at the same?" He's like, "No, I'm power leveling myself, but the models look like totally different characters because one was a weaker PC than the other."
Wow.
Like,
That's
like
EQ too.
imagine
That is definitely EQ too.
the let's say the Dark Knight esoteric, right? You know, it's all the intricate details and stuff.
Yeah.
On
yeah.
one you'd see all of it, and the other one he'd be like wearing like a black tunic.
Yeah.
It was like that different.
Supposedly, when that game released, they were trying to make it scalable for tech coming out. So at release, there was no computer that was able to run it at full graphic capability. And now that we've gotten to a point where it can be run, it just looks plasticky and weird.
Oh man, speaking of which, I really do hope there's a DX12 version of this game. That would
Oh my god, DX12 would be
fundamentally-
so fucking cool.
it would fundamentally increase everyone's FPS that could support DX12.
Mm-hmm.
Where I mean, like, how many people were like, "Oh yeah, DX11, oh, I finally get to utilize my video card to its fullest," and like, I think across the board, everyone got lower FPS.
Yeah, I'm still using.
Everyone.
I'm using DX9 still, also. Even though I could use DX11, I'm still on DX9.
Fuck, I bought a 970, fucking DX11 all the.
I
But
would
didn't they already say
DX11.
they're not going to do DX12?
Well, it's
They-
not in the plans so far.
they didn't
No, they
say
They
no.
outright said no, if I remember correctly.
I'm pretty sure
Really?
they didn't say no. I'm pretty sure they said that
It's too soon.
they don't know yet. But I think I've said this before in a previous episode, but if they embraced like a Vulkan version of this game, they could easily support Mac and Linux at almost no FPS loss. I mean, it doesn't have like they put themselves under some time constraint, but like, you know, this game's gonna be around. You know, just
Well,
kind of
on a
put
weird
it on the
side
back
note,
burner.
the Wii U version apparently was in talks,
Whoa.
or the next Nintendo console or something. They were talking with Nintendo to put this game on.
Wow.
I don't know. I
Didn't-
heard something about that.
Didn't know about that. But I mean, like, dude, the huge uproar when the Mac version came out, and everyone's like, "Oh, this blows ass." And
Yeah, I
it's
heard
like,
it was pretty bad.
And it's like, well, you know, had you just taken the time to properly code it, not like we need to release it by now, which is why they took a sort of a shortcut, I guess. But
Was it a third-party porter, or was it just them doing it?
it was both a third party, but they made the decision to use some other thing. I don't know. Bottom line is, take the time to do it, and you know, if they make a Vulkan version, which is OpenGL, so sort of the OpenGL equivalent of DX12 for this game, you just like pretty much have made a Linux, Mac, and Windows version of this game. Not to mention, if you do release it in Vulkan, you don't force all of your players who want to use DX12 to upgrade their operating system to Windows 10
True.
and still get all those DX12 benefits, so to speak.
That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a quick search, and it looks like in May there was an outright statement of there were no current plans to move to Microsoft's new API.
Yeah. No plans, but they weren't
Yeah.
not doing it.
It wasn't going to be an outright no, and that's something that could come with a future expansion pack. So it wasn't a no, we're never going to do, but as of right now, it's not on the horizon.
Well, I mean, to be fair, right? Like I totally understand that statement. I probably would have said the same thing if I were Square, because DX12 is Windows 10 only. Like, you have to use Windows 10 to use DX12. There's no way around that. So rewriting your game for the third time, if you count going from 1.0 to 2.0, would be retarded for such a tiny community. Because it's not only do they have to use Windows 10, they have to use Windows 10 and a video card that supports the X12. Anyway, huge tangent, sorry.
Nerds.
Crazy nerds. Yeah, the final major thing that we were looking at just through our little Reddit trolling was we should ally with the Guardians. And this is something that's come up a whole bunch of times, and honestly, this game is not created for a two-faction style of gameplay.
But I'd rather be with the Guardians.
I'm not saying I wouldn't, because I would drop them and join Nero in a goddamn heartbeat.
We get all we get the little bindies if we switch.
Yes, that'd be great.
I want a gun halberd and gun sword and they have gun weapons.
So
Damn it.
Gun hammer.
I really stopped and thought about this. One of the things leading up to this point that has been the biggest hurdle for having a Guardian faction is the fact that the story needed to be completed in order to access Heavensward, correct?
Yes.
With the next expansion, they've already said the story will not need to be completed in order to access that expansion. Meaning that if they wanted to create a leveling experience, which they probably won't, from 1 to 60, specifically for the Guardian side, it's completely feasible because you don't have to use a story that already exists.
So you mean kind of like how they did with the pandas, where they can choose to be Horde or Alliance, right?
Kind of, but they only created levels up through 1 through 10. And then when you hit 10, you became part of the faction you wanted to, and you went the normal leveling path, whether it was Horde or Alliance. They can cut it wherever they want and then throw you back somewhere, but it doesn't make any sense to have you start in the Guardian Empire, get up to a certain level, and then go to the Warrior of Light stuff from 2.0, because you're outright against the Guardian Empire through all of that. So it'd have to be at least a 50.
But would you even what kind of content with it? But that'd be a lot.
That'd be a
fucking
lot
content.
of shit to do, and that's why I'm like, this does not seem like something that can be done for quite some time.
I don't see it being done, but if they did, I would totally join the dark side.
I want a
We
gun
could be the
sword.
Warriors of Dark.
Hell yeah, dude! I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with it. I mean, because
Spoilers.
yeah, it is spoilers. I'm not gonna go further, but I mean,
Whoa! Spoiler alert! What? How far in are we?
I guess.
Why are we spoiler alerting anything?
Well,
I don't know.
I
just like saying spoilers.
The cutscenes for blah 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 stuff have been released by Square Enix. They themselves.
Actually, yeah, they did spoil
Have
that.
have you watched any of the live letters? Blah blah blah. Those are spoilers, and and then here we are trying to play the game. If you're not playing it, you don't really care about spoilers, or you're probably looking to us to spoil or no, sorry, you're probably playing the game vicariously through this podcast. Therefore, we should be telling you what's going on.
okay, I'm gonna buy that. So, the Warrior of Darkness or whatever. We know who he is and everything.
On the
He's literally a warrior.
Yeah. It just. I know we talked about it before, but I still am really curious as to how the fuck they're going to do this, because he has been in everything so far, and it's like, well, what the fuck are you gonna do now with all the other stuff? Because if we kill him, then what? Then what are you gonna do? What the fuck are you gonna do?
It's funny because I think it's like, that guy, the Huron guy, the main dude, right? He became so popular that they decided to make him an actual character in the game, and he's the Warrior of Darkness.
I just he's a derp, man. The guy's derpy. He's a Derplander, and he's gonna die. You know he's gonna die.
Yeah,
he's
because there's gonna be 8 of us fucking beating his ass.
Exactly.
Unless he gets a whole party.
Unless he gets his friends.
Archangel fight.
Oh.
Oh my god, like the Archangel fight.
Archangel?
Final Fantasy 11 Archangel fight.
Yeah.
Oh my
That was
god,
good.
DM13?
Yes, yes,
Oh my
yes,
God.
yes.
I have that on VHS in my apartment right now. Our clear.
Okay, I understand all these words in separation, but together they make zero sense to me. The fuck are you guys talking about?
Okay, so the Archangel fight, it's
I'm almost certain it's DM12.
Is it DM12?
But
I think it might be DM12. So, okay.
Okay.
So what it is that it's part of it's a really big fight, and in order to progress further, you needed to be able to clear it. And not only did it give you a really cool earring, I think it was an earring, or was it a ring? It's an earring. Yeah, earring.
Earring.
But it was pretty hard
More.
because you needed more than just 5 other people, because
You needed
parties were
18.
6. You needed 18. And the party and so what you would fight were basically archangels, the versions of the specific job. So Black Mage was a Taru.
And he was a Dark Knight also. He was.
Yes.
They all had 2 classes.
Yes, they all had 2 classes, and so that was the Taru. The Galka was, what was the Galka?
Some Samurai and Dragoon.
And then you had the Mikote,
Beastmaster and Thief.
and then the
human was Ninja and Warrior.
Mhm.
The Elven
was
was
Paladin and
Paladin, White Mage.
Paladin White. Oh god, that's Spirits Within.
Oh my
Hurt
god.
So
And
and the
Benediction.
the fight was really hard. I mean, I remember at one point dying and like sitting on the edge of my seat waiting for a raise, because I knew it would come, but other people had to be saved first, and you would watch people kite and just do all sorts of shit just to stay alive, and it took a lot of coordination. Yes, poison potions, everything, the works. I mean, it was just like,
You needed 18 people to be on point.
and then they found out that you can just flare
Blow
them
them
to
up?
death.
Yeah, you can just blow them all up.
Walk in
Oh.
with 18 black mages and just
fuck.
one AoE spell from each of them equals instant wound.
Yeah, it was pretty hilarious. But what was cool was, it's kind of like with the lore for the Warrior of Darkness, is that they were all like the flaws of each race. They were the representation of the flaws. So it's like the arrogance of the Elvins and stuff like that. They were like personified, and that's what was really cool about it with the story.
What was wrong with the Lalafell?
I think they were too trusting or something like that.
Or the Taru. Well, no, I know they did a lot of stuff. The Taru were like pretty bad.
Oh yeah, they fucked over the Yagudos pretty bad.
And they also fucked over the Elvons, because they did enslave the Elvons.
Well, the humans enslaved the Galkas too.
Well, yeah, and that actually has carried over into, the current time where that has been talked about, whereas you wouldn't know immediately that the Taru had enslaved the Elvons. But that's okay. They needed to be enslaved.
But if we do an Archangel fight like that, with the Warriors of Darkness, that would be fucking cool.
Yes, it would. And I heard that Dark. Anyway. It's the they have the Phantom Gem of Cowardice and the Penticide Perpetrator Phantom Gem. Oh, that's for Dark Divine Might 2.
Also, it was Cowardice of the Taru.
Cowardice? What would the Cowardice relate to? Revolve. Okay, the thing says an ephemerally crystallized corpus of memories that revolve around a battle for the ages. Maybe it's for everyone. Who knows? I just clicked on links.
Okay, it's apathy, arrogance, cowardice, envy, and rage.
Oh.
Shard of Apathy. Mm-hmm.
Well, why would the Taru be cowards?
Because
They're tiny. Yeah.
Dude, they enslaved the fucking Elvons, and the Elvons are like dommels.
Is it apathy? Was those the humans?
I don't know.
Oh well, let's go back to
FF11 lore
14.
is meh. Just like 14 lore is meh.
Wow.
I mean, 14 lore is so much more interesting. If I'm not saying anything for the next lore talk, it's because I'm so entertained.
Which, oddly enough, that's coming up next. Sorry,
It
bro.
is.
So during the 14-hour anniversary broadcast, there was a lore panel wrap-up, and they talked about the background information and the creation of things like the Pugilist Guild, the 80 Sins of Sosimo, Thal's Respite, Madman Bridge, Thalos, Fool's Falls, Hedge Tree, Earth's Font, Silent King, High Bridge, God's Grip, Aleport, Black Tea Brook, Bent Branch Meadows, and then there were extra fun facts. We're not going to talk about all this because it was really intense, and there is a link that I'm sure we'll have put up somewhere on the notes. But we do want to talk about a few things. Cala, did you want to start?
I thought you were going to start because Pugilist Guild is like on the top.
Fine. Pugilist Guild's first. So the one thing that I thought was really that one of my favorite things about this whole explanation was the Pugilist Guild. And everybody who looks at it, they see the guild and it's a red flag, and the image on there is not a sword, it's a flame, and it's the same flame that is part of Old Daw's flag, the one that balances strength and fortune. But apparently, like, the story of how that came about is very interesting, because it was during a time where Yoshi was just kind of running around, and he wanted a visual aid outside the guild. He's like, you guys, slap together a red flag, do it. And they just kind of last minute put together a red flag with the flame on it, and that's how the Pugilist Guild got its little symbol outside. And I think that's super slapdash last minute awesomeness that kind of has significance because of the flag of Ul'dah, but its creation was totally we're gonna bullshit some shit together, and now it's awesome.
which is, when you read through some of this, it kind of, you can see that it's like, oh, they really did do a lot of BSing on here. It's kind of cool and kind of just really funny because
I think I would count that as less lore and more sort of trivia.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of neat. It's kind of neat. Did you know that, we did something ridiculous, and that's how something that you found that you hold dear came to be? It's like, wow. This is the sound of their glasses shattering.
You also had the Thalos.
Yeah.
Thalos.
Well, if you really want something that's actually lore driven, you have Thaleos or Thaleos, whatever.
The Laos.
Yeah, basically it is a name that is part of the Eorzean creation myth, and the myth speaks about how long ago the world was dry, and Linlaean saw this and decided the world needed water, and created the sea serpent Thaleos to do this. And apparently it was tied up to Swallowtail Rome, which eventually turns into Seal Rock. So all you PvPers who are PvPing and kicking ass out there, this is where you're fighting. Eventually, they were satisfied with the water level, and she sealed the serpent in the island, but this directly affects the Limsa Laminson motto of Till Sea Swallows All, because at some point in the future, the serpents are supposed to break free, the Leos, and they're going to continue filling the world with water until everybody drowns. Therefore, the sea will swallow all. That's lore, and that's fucking awesome.
That's how long Limsa will stand.
Limsa will stand until the end of the world.
Until the end of the world.
That's great. So another little, I guess, lore thing is Earth Fount. So we know that Odin is created and everything, but we didn't know quite about Earth. Not Earth, it's Earth, as in Earth's Fount in, is it somewhere in the Shroud? I can't remember which Shroud. It's all shroudy to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of falling
It's
asleep.
all shrouded in darkness.
So Oda-san, talks about the history and says that during the reign of the Allegan Empire, a holy woman named Earth was slain by the evil Odin. But then, as I say, victors, are the ones who tell the truth instead of the losers. So according to the people who actually won, Earth was an enemy of the Allegans, and Odin was a hero from the north who came south into Eorzea to save Earth. Which sounds weird. So he came to save Earth, but was an enemy. I don't get it. It was then that Odin came upon the forbidden sword Zantensuken and succumbed to its power, becoming the primal we all know, love, and hate. So, we know that Odin is manifested as a primal because he's going based on the wishes and dreams of people long before, and then continuing on because people are like still speculating about him and thinking about him and going like, oh my gosh, that Odin guy and his sexy, awesome, hard-looking codpiece that just juts out right in front of him.
What the?
Wow,
Dude.
Lore.
Dude,
This is lore, not Dojin.
but his, for some reason, I don't even get why his armor piece fucking has a codpiece, and it really blows my mind. Anyway, so
You gotta protect your junk, girl. That shit's important.
but can't you just wear like a sack?
But what if someone tries
There's
to
a
stab
sack
at
under
your
there,
junk?
though.
But then it's a fucking codpiece, like it's sticking out there.
For deflection purposes.
Maybe
So
it's that big.
So
or to
he's
draw your eye.
So he's using Zantensuken not only to deflect the attacks coming from waist and above, but he's using his codpiece to deflect attacks from the waist below.
Maybe he
Yes.
named his junk Zantetsuken also.
Ew.
Oh
That
man.
is so fuck. That's gross. That's gross. That's gross.
Ew.
Yeah, ew. Yeah, dude, the site used to be on Zantensuken. Fuck. Okay, anyway,
The
so
site was on his cock? Wow.
shit. So we know that is why Odin exists, but it's just, I don't know, it's kind of like weird. So like Earth is an enemy, but she's not. So did she just die there? She's just a place where she died, right?
Maybe.
Seems that
Maybe
way. 'cause
that's
You
just
have,
weird.
but you have Earth's gift right next to it, so one of those two spots.
So then what's the gift about?
That wasn't in the lore letter.
The
I know.
sacrifice of Earth is her gift to you. I don't know.
But
I'm totally bullshitting right now.
every time I say her name, I keep thinking of Earth, not Earth.
Like Earth, as in the planet Earth.
Yes.
No,
Gaia,
That's
the spirit of the earth.
That's not what I think.
What do you think?
The Earth with you. The actual spelling.
Well, yeah, because that's the one that's referred to. But every time I
Yeah.
hear it, I keep thinking, I have to tell myself, okay, it's Earth, not Earth.
Nah. Once you hear it in context, like when you say Earth's fount, then you're like, oh, I get it.
But then when you say Earth's gift, the Earth gives you gifts, right?
I guess.
Like,
I don't
well,
know.
I mean, like, you can't have vegetables without the Earth. You can't have.
Can't
You know
bacon
what?
either.
I was about to say penises and cocks without the Earth because that's all that's in my head. Thanks, Joe.
You're welcome.
No, you're not supposed to say you're welcome.
I do have one small thing that has nothing to do with cocks and cod pieces.
Okay.
There's an
It's
extra
not small.
Wow. There's an extra fun fact tied to the Earth's fount portion, and it talks about the Japanese term to describe Odin, which is Toshin, which is similar to the Japanese term Santoshin, which translates into English, which where they did it was the Warring Triad, because Santoshin literally means three gods fighting. And they mention that Toshin is literally just a term that the Alligans use for the primals, and primals being relatively recent to Eorzea term. So if that is the case, if Toshin is the term for primals from the Allagan side, does that imply that the Warring Triad that we saw up in Azazla are actually three primals stuck in stone, or represent three primals that we're going to meet later?
I think there are three primals that are represented that we might meet later, but only if the wishes are there to bring them back.
If Kefka moves them, that's the only time that'll happen.
Because don't
Basically,
Shut
I'm
up.
looking at this as a way to basically fight the Warring Triad in 14. I'm trying to make that happen.
I would love that fight too. 3-tiered fight too, and you fight an angel at the
Mhm.
top.
It would be fun,
Yeah.
but you would need all the prayers to make them come back, right?
Well,
Because-
since there could be statues representing, and there could be something that they're maybe locked away somehow through Allagan tech, kind of like how Bahamut was locked away in Dalamud. Possibility.
But Bahamut only came to be because of the desire of Tiamat. And the other people who were hoping that he wasn't dead, that he would come back, and that he would slay the people who did all these atrocities.
That was the time of Bahamut's death, if I'm right. So Bahamut comes back as a primal, and then it's sealed away in Dalamud.
Yes.
So what's to say that the Warring Triad isn't sealed away somewhere else?
Good point. So maybe they are sealed away someplace. Maybe
And
that
we fight
airship.
them.
Maybe the airship has them.
Oh, the Void Ark?
Oh
Mhm.
shit! The three bosses. Wait,
Yeah.
are the three? Yeah.
Or maybe that is what leads us to the ooh, wow. Look at this unraveling story.
Because I mean, how else are you going to explain that? Because I mean, those statues are fucking huge. I can't imagine them being there. They could. I mean, and if this airship is being powered and it's flying throughout a space all on its own, and Bahamut was locked on into Dalamud to be used as a energy source, maybe the triad was used as, you know, a stepping stone into putting Bahamut into Dalamud, into the sky, to be used as an energy source.
That's deep.
That is, I didn't mean to be deep, but yeah, I guess I'm just bullshitting. Anyway.
Yeah, so I think that's all we're going to talk about the lore panel. Like we said, we'll put up a link to the forum post, because there's a lot of really juicy tidbits, pieces of trivia that are really fun to know. There are some things in here that'll really change your perspective on some of the things in the game, but I think it's mostly tidbits of, oh, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we're going to move on to an email that we got recently.
The
And-
email.
Email mailbag. Woo. Kala, do you want to read it, or should I?
Sure, I'll read it.
Go ahead.
To make a long story short, my mother suddenly passed away on Good Friday, and after a
Oh.
week, I thought there was more to this email. No, there as actually, I have to pull it up on my Gmail because there is something preluding to that line, and I will load it because it's there. Okay, so this is the title of this email is why I decided to support you through Patreon. And so
Oh wow.
yeah,
Wow.
this is addressed to all of us, the hosts of SBXIV, and he says, to make a long story short, my mother suddenly passed away on Good Friday, and after a week off, I had to navigate the deserted, dark highways of rural East Texas with nothing but my own thoughts. After trying several other 14 podcasts ranging from Mr. Twitch to PBS fundraiser hosted by screaming 12-year-olds having a dick swinging contest, I just want to thank you for being able to straddle the fence between the informative and absurd and keeping me from going insane trapped in a moving vehicle while in a particularly dark spot in my life. You do more good than you know. Melodrama now aside, 1. Calaera needs to hand in her Panay card for not liking fish.
You don't like fish?
She's broken.
That's not...
She eats sushi.
I can eat raw fish, I can eat sashimi, I can eat sushi. I can't deal with the fishy taste and smell.
I miss personally coming home from school and my whole house smelling like fried fish.
Oh my gosh.
Messing
I
up.
miss that.
Every time the house would smell like that, I'd have to go, I'm sorry, I have to excuse myself. I go straight into my room because I would be
And
gagging.
puke.
Yes. I almost lost it because I can't go to Pike Place Market in the fish area because it's too strong for me and I would end up just throwing up.
But that's raw fish.
No, it has a heavy fishy smell.
That's true.
Yeah, see? So then we went to Canada to the Vancouver market, right? And I'm so excited because it's all cool. And then we walk into the fish market and I almost just threw up my breakfast and lunch because it was just so... I just can't stand the smell. Like, I want to... Shut up! I want to enjoy fish. I mean, I can eat tuna fish because it doesn't have that heavy fishy smell and taste. And sometimes I can do salmon. And raw fish, definitely I can do raw fish, sashimi. But cooked fish, fried fish, I can't do it. It tastes and smells too fishy to me. And it just doesn't... It's not good.
Something smells fishy.
Shut up. It's your face. If not
It's
your
okay.
crotch.
Dark didn't even eat like shrimp or anything until like she started dating me and eating Filipino food with fish and shrimp.
And
What?
I mean...
No one's eating
balut.
fucking balut. No. Do you eat it? But do you eat it?
I've had it before. It's not that great.
And you force-fed Dark some bella?
No.
No, she can't stand looking at the eyes staring back at her.
Just
So
close
that's the
your
one
eyes.
thing.
Just close your eyes.
If it still has a face, she doesn't like it.
Okay, cut the head off. Got it.
Well, what if
Yeah.
the head is in your mouth?
Perfect.
Then it'd be fine, right?
Balot's scary. Balut is so scary.
It is scary. I mean, the first time I was introduced to it, I was really young. I remember sitting in the back of the car, and my mom and dad, they were driving to the market at night. And my mom would come back, and she'd come back with this egg, and I'd be like, "What is that?" And she'd be like eating it, and then she'd like, "Do you want some?" And then she'd hold it back to me, and I would see little feathers and this headless thing in there, and I started crying. Thinking my mother was a monster.
Then that makes
It's
you.
Aswang.
It's
That
one
makes
of those
you
things.
a baby monster.
It's one of those things I always told myself if I had the opportunity to try it, I would. And I'm really, really glad I have not in my life thus far had the opportunity to try it.
Sakura-con.
I will fucking gut you.
We will do this. We will do this.
I'll buy a dozen. Should that be enough, or is that too many?
Oh man! As long as everyone eats one, I will eat one.
Just
Then
make
we
sure I'm
have to
drunk as
record
shit.
it. We have to
Dude,
record it, and
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
This brings me back to, I know I mentioned this in an SBXIV episode long ago, and unfortunately, the people who were there weren't in the podcast. But we went to a food quest, and we basically went to Bacchanal, which is like a really awesome food buffet in Vegas.
that place is so good.
It's so good. Unfortunately, one of our friends, who's also in our free company, she picked up mistakenly sugarless cheesecake.
That should not- that is a thing that should not be.
It is definitely a thing that should not exist. I remember she ate it and I was like, it can't be that bad. And so I said, like, here, give it to me. And I took a bite and I'm like, fuck, this is bad.
I'm like, I've made cheesecake from scratch, and I'm like, okay, what would it taste like if I? Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
It's bad. Basically, that piece of cheesecake made the round around the table of like, what is it, 10 people?
Yes.
And we all... And my wife is in the corner yelling about the crappy cheesecake. Because that thing was fucking terrible.
It was horrible. I think there was, out of the 10 of us, there was only 2 people who didn't try it. Maybe 3. They should have, because it was an interesting experience. But yeah, it was I don't think I'm gonna try bullet, even if it's being offered and other people are saying like, I'll eat it if
Just
you
chase it down with a shot.
do. See, I can't drink, so that would suck, but who knows? Maybe a little bite I'll take. Maybe. Okay, going back to this email. Number 2, Orphan needs to man up and graduate to the truly great films like Zardoz.
Zardoz is awesome.
What the fuck is Zardoz?
I don't even know what that is.
It's a Sean Connery movie. Here, allow me to show you a picture of Zardoz.
If only this was like...
Yeah, so now to explain to the podcast listeners, because you don't have the magic of visuals, imagine Sean Connery in his youth-ish, mid-30s, late 30s, but he has a long-ass ponytail, red bandoliers that act as suspenders for a red Speedo with thigh-high brown boots and a fucking gun.
It looks like something you would see in 14.
It's pretty magical.
That's every tank in the world.
That is every fucking tank in the world with a gun. Dude, I
guess it's every tank turned machinist.
I'm staring at his crotch. I'm going like, what the hell is that? It's a diaper. He's wearing a fucking diaper, you guys.
It depends.
And it's held up with suspenders. I don't
Red
need
bandolier suspenders, yeah.
I don't need Oro to watch this, because if he watches this, I think I will end up crying.
No, because you'll end up seeing him wear this.
Oh, then I will really cry. I'll be like,
He should cosplay.
He's
it
cosplaying
for
this at Circuricon.
no, it's not gonna happen.
If not Oro, then Joe.
Oh my gosh.
I think Dark would approve.
No, Dark, say no.
No
Anyways.
means yes?
No means no.
Uh-oh. That's not what she said last night.
Shut up! Okay, so finishing this email, he says, for those not in the know, giant floating stone heads, guns, penises, and Sean Connery in a red diaper with hooker boots. Need I say more?
Wow.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly what we... Very nice.
Thanks again, and warmest regards, Andrew. Andrew, he is
Thanks,
not going
Andrew.
to watch this movie. I am not giving up my Panay card, but I love you. I wish I could give you a hug. You're pretty awesome, and thank you for supporting us, because it really means a lot to us. Just having one less thing to worry about with our, web hosting bill. It takes a load off your shoulders, But I think for now we're done, right? Siri?
Yep.
You're right.
We're all done.
Yep.
Closing thoughts are...
You can find our podcast at sequencebreak.com, which will forward you to our Zanten Suken site until Orphan has worked out the kinks. He has been going through personal things. That's why he's not here too, because he's been busy. He has to catch up on his work at work. Work.
Work.
Mm-hmm. Work. Woohoo. I was going to say something else, but I forgot. You can find our Twitter account at SBXIV. If you want to email us, we encourage you to do so. Email us at podcast@zantensuken.net. If you have a question, a comment, if you want to talk about how Cirrisian should post more drunken videos of him singing and dancing with a thick gold chain, please do so. We would gladly appreciate that.
And I will gladly oblige.
When he's hammered.
Yes. If you want to support us on Patreon, you can find us at Patreon, patreon.com/SBXIV. I believe we're close to our next reward tier, which would mean
Schedule consistency,
which we're already working on, even though we haven't hit it. We're at $81 with 6 patrons total. So if you feel like supporting us and want us to produce more, then do so, by supporting us through Patreon. If you want to do a one-time donation, email us and we'll try and figure something out one way or another. And with that, we are done with this episode. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
I'm gonna kill you later, Siri. Just wait. I am seriously gonna kill you, Siri.
Yes. I did
am
my job.
seriously going to kill you, Siri.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
This is the end of the road. Though I
No.
can't say no. It's unnatural. You belong to me.
No.
I
No.
belong